Welcome. If this is your first time here, this is a quiet space. We don't rush here. We don't pretend here. We sit with the things that we don't always name, like desire, identity, patterns, faith, questions, and growth. So wherever you are listening from, just take a breath. You don't have to fix anything right away. Let's begin. There's something many of us experience but don't always, talk about. You can know something is true and still not live like it is. You can understand something very clearly, even, agree with it, and then still find yourself thinking the same thoughts, making the same, decisions, and even returning to the same patterns. And this raises, a quiet question. Why does knowing not always change how we live? There's often a tension within us, a part of us that sees, clearly, and a part of us that still moves in a different direction. One part says, this is not who I want to be. Another part says, nothing, and just repeats what it knows. And sometimes that tension feels confusing because you begin to wonder, if I can see it, why can't I change it? Maybe it's because what we call knowing often stays at the surface, but patterns live deeper. They are built through repetition, through what we have practiced over time. The way we respond, the way we think, the way we cope. These things don't just change overnight just because, we now have, understanding of something new. There's something about familiarity, even when it's not healthy, even when it's not true. It feels known. And what feels known often feels safe. So we return to it. Not always because we want to, but because it's what we are used to. And sometimes truth feels different. It feels right, but unfamiliar. It requires a different response, a different way of thinking, a different way of choosing. And that gap between what feels familiar and what feels actually true is where many of us get stuck. So, maybe living from truth is not a one-time decision. Maybe it's a practice, a quiet, daily returning to what is true when your thoughts, pull you elsewhere. Returning to what is true when your emotions feel louder. Returning even when it feels unnatural at first. Because over time, what you return to begins to shape you. Not instantly, but gradually. What once felt unfamiliar begins to feel more natural. And what once felt automatic begins to lose its hold. And for those on a spiritual journey, this can be even deeper. Because truth is not just something we think about, it is something we are invited to live from. Not through pressure, not through perfection, but through connection, through returning, and through honesty. So maybe the question is not just, do I know what is true? Maybe the question is, what am I consistently returning to? What is shaping my daily choices? What feels familiar, even if it's not true? And what would it look like to begin returning to truth? A little more intentionally. Because once you begin to see that, another question begins to form. What actually helps, me to stay there? What helps me to remain in that, state of living in my truth? Not just returning, once, but just to remain. We will begin to explore this in our next episode. Thank you for sitting with me. If something stayed with you, don't rush past it. Carry it with you. Reflect on it. Sit, with it a little longer. You can listen to more reflections on 1-1 on YouTube and Spotify. If this space gives you room, to think or to breathe, you are always welcome here. Come back whenever.